Hey guys, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are guys. I hope you're having a really good day. I hope you're having a hugely good day because yeah, I am. I'm here in the workshop again, streaming for the second day on the trot, again with the laser cutter. It's over there at the minute, you can see it in just this top corner here. Ryan McG, thank you so much for the follow, man, as well as Katushkin a few minutes ago. Thank you so much guys, I really appreciate it. Nick, I know you like the car, the blue truck, it's there. Thrax Fog very early at 2:43, about half an hour ago. Sorry I'm a little bit late going live. There was a last minute hiccup with some files and Tom and I are in Discord chat right now trying to fix it. We will get it sorted. As well as that, we've also got Anarchy on here. Anarchy wasn't first this time, for the first time in ages, so yeah. AKB James as well. Elder Rat says, that board though, yeah, the Vesta board is so cool, so cool. Like, I can do so many different things with it. It's great. I love it. I'm going to make it a touch bigger just so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. Who else have we got? Katushkin's here as well. I do, yeah. There you go. Hi Jay, I hope you're having a good day. You need to mic it up so we can hear it during the stream. If I'm talking, you will be able to hear it in the background, just like that. So there you go. Don't worry, little Datsun truck, we'll save you. Well, there is the Datsun truck. She's a beaut, look. Ta-da. Yeah, like it's really loud. It's really loud. Well, it's not really loud actually, it's not that bad. It's just such a nice noise. And every time something happens and it updates, I just get to hear it. It sounds so good. It's like such a feel-good thing. It's just so, it's the audio equivalent of tactile, and I don't know what to say that is. What's the audio equivalent of tactility? I bet you can't really hear it through the noise cancelling on those headphones. You can't actually. If I've got these on, I can barely hear it. Like if I'm talking at the same time, I won't hear it. I just see on the screen that it's flicking and I look up straight away. I hope they make a 1x1 variant for the poor folk. Oh man, dude, like I wish they were cheaper. I really do. I'd have one in every room of the house if I could. Like they're just all going all at the same time. My wife hates it when I have mine on in the house. Haha. Oh man, yeah, no, it's really cool. It's really cool. I absolutely love the board, and it just every time it rotates, it gives me a really big smile on my face. A huge fan of it already. Okay, so what we're doing today, guys? Today we're going to make a jig, and I don't mean like a jig as in a jigsaw. We're going to make a tool holder, a workpiece holder from the laser cutter for the laser cutter. So what we need to do now is create a tool that's going to hold some parts in place so we can do something to the parts later on. So it's a part for a job. That makes sense? A jig. I hope that makes sense. But what we're going to do is we've got some nice MDF board in the laser at the minute. I'll show you the type of board we have. It's just standard laser ply. No need to use anything fancy here. It's 6mm thick, just keeping something really standard. This is what we've got in the laser cutter now already. Off the Vesta board goes. That one's, I shouldn't really show you that one, that's a sale, so it lets me know when there's a sale on the site. It's kind of cheesy. Yeah, I'm going to do a jig. That's my little jig, I don't know what that is. I can't believe you just made me do that on stream. But yeah, we're going to create a jig. And what we're going to create a jig for is because I want to do something with some parts. And the parts are these. You might have seen these on some of my streams. These are basically tool trays that for like screws and bits and pieces that a guy called Tom and I have been working on. Now you might know Tom from things such as GMK Fuji, GMK Cyrillic, which is in group by now, go buy it. And a few other projects as well, GMK Deep Navy, and a few other things as well. So he had designed these. I told him I was working on something similar. He kind of came up with a shape and we kind of agreed it together, and this is what we ended up with. We ended up with these nice little screw trays. They're really nice and lovely. Come in a range of colors. Red. We have purple. Have the bright orange. We have blue. And we might have some other colors later on as well. But what we want to do is to etch some stuff on the back of it to just kind of give it a bit of unique texture and give it kind of like a bit of prototypish branding and some Tom branding and some other bits as well. So you can see we've already tested this one out and it came out reasonable. You can see the PT logo there. It shows up better in real life than it does on the camera. But we want to do something a little bit more than that. So you can see we etched the PT logo into our keyboard stand, which came out really nice. And we're going to create it on these. So what I want to do is I want to create a jig, which is a tool that's going to hold 4 of these in one place and allow me to etch into them so it's dead centered. And what the jig's going to do is it's basically going to be a slot in the piece of wood that's going to hold 4 of these in place. And then whenever I put this piece of wood back in the laser cutter, I know exactly where I need to drop these for the files to laser etch it exactly in the right place. So it's basically a positioning tool that we're going to use in the laser cutter. That means whenever I run a file, the parts are always going to be in the exact same place. So that's what I'm hoping to do today. Tom is in the middle of trying to figure out what's going on with the files because it wasn't working quite so well. But what we're going to do is going to do 2 things. First of all, we're going to create the jig. Then once we've created the jig, then we're going to create the file that's going to X the text in the jig. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. So we're going to make the part holder, the tool holder. Then we're going to make the file that will then etch into the spaces that we've cut out of the file. I'm not explaining this very well at all, but it all makes sense up here, I think. Those colors look great, right? Right? How cool are these? Get them on the camera nicely. So these are going to be, I'm not sure if we're going to do, it's not going to be a traditional group buy for these. I think we're going to actually order some and then we'll put them up for pre-order once the order's in and they're being produced. We've got some nice custom proprietary feet for these as well. It's going to go on the base of them that we're going to use in a lot of prototyping products going forwards too. So yeah. Please don't do that again. Yeah, I won't dance for you again. Don't worry, don't worry. Anyway, so let's flip over to the build stream cam so you guys can see. Oh no, the Vesta cam's going less. Ryan McGee, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. It does take a little while for the Vesta board to capture the Twitch ones. I think it runs on like a 5-minute or a 10-minute interval, so I do apologize if it misses any of your Twitch joining. But there we go. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Okay, so the camera's moved a little bit since I set it up, but let's just see if we can adjust it a little bit better. There you go. So you guys can see a little bit more of what it's doing in the laser itself now. Okay, so we're going to laser basically the outline of this 4 times into this piece of wood, and then we're going to cut a box around it. And that means we're going to have a perfectly square box that's perfectly sized holes for this. And wherever I put these, they're effectively always going to be in the same position on this board. Now, what we will do for the production run of these is I'll actually have like 30 or 40 of these available in the laser at one time. But we're just going to make a test jig. The lag just means I get thanked twice. We did just have the Vesta board going again, but it's a sale, so I shouldn't show you that. I shouldn't be showing you that. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let's load up Lightburn, and hopefully you guys can see. Lightburn. Okay, so you'll see in Lightburn here, this is a software that we use to control the laser. I have now created 4 of the outlines for this particular shape. If I zoom right in, you'll see that we've got 4 outlines which basically match the shape of this, give or take a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to cut this shape out of the piece of wood that's in the laser cutter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to move them around roughly to where I want them. So I'm just going to take them away from the corner. So I can always use that square corner of the wood, that 90-degree angle, to make sure we've got it aligned in the correct place every time I want to cut these. And we know that we need to cut these from plywood. I'm pretty sure I have a saying for plywood. He says, maybe I don't. I thought I had a setting for plywood. Maybe I don't. Okay, so I've already set the laser height in the laser as well. Let's create this then. Okay, so let's see if this cuts first of all, 100 millimeters a second at 20% power. I don't think that's going to cut. Let's put that to 40% power on the laser, and we're just going to cut. Now etching's dead easy because it's going to be in metal. We can sort that out later on. But let's waste a piece of material and see if this will actually cut, right? So I'm going to send that over to the laser. Okay. Now I've sent that over to the laser. That file is stored within the laser system itself. Various afternoon, thank you very, very much for being here. I appreciate that. Let's close down Lightburn so you guys can see the laser. And what we're going to do is we're just going to try this setting and see how it goes. Normally I'd do just a tiny little test cut and I'd work out exactly the speeds and feeds that I need. But let's go 40% power and 100 millimeters a second and see if that cuts all the way through this board. I don't think it will, but let's see if it does. First thing I'm going to do is just check the file on the system, make sure it's got all of the details in there, make sure the laser knows exactly what it's going to do. It is. And we're just going to frame the part and see exactly where it's going to cut those four different bits. So it's going to put them nicely in that corner. We can move that up, I think, slightly, but we're going to leave it as it is. And then we're just going to hit start in the software. I'm just going to come back over to the PC. I'm going to hit start on the software. I won't show you guys this because it's just one button. And then we should see the laser start to cut. I don't think this is going to cut all the way through. I'm pretty sure this won't cut all the way through. I'm like 100% certain that did not cut anywhere near all the way through. Let's have a look. We can waste as much of this wood as we like. Well, we etched the wood, and there is a groove there. There is a definite groove there. It's about a third of the way through the material. So we're going to slow it down this time. We're going to use a different corner. We're going to use this corner this time. So we'll get the piece of wood back in the machine. And using that recorder. So I could, but if I do that, then what I'm not learning is I'm not learning what power it takes to cut through the wood in one pass. So the idea is, Nick, that I want to cut through the whole piece of wood in one single pass. And that will give me a setting that I can save forever, and now I know how that's going to cut the MDF at that time. With that pass, I could cut it again in exactly the same place, but I'm not going to get a good feel for what the actual code is. I should really be doing tiny little cuts, but it's more fun to watch the laser do big spangly things than it is to cut single little squares out. So we're just going to waste this piece of material until we get the settings right. Okay, so I'm going to load back up Fusion. Sorry, not Fusion, Lightburn. And I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to just slow it down. We're going to leave it at 40% power. And we're going to slow it down to 30 millimeters a second instead of 100. We're going to save that. We're going to send that over to the machine. We're going to check that it's actually picked that up and make sure it's dropped the speed from it. It has. It's got the new settings in there. That's all looking good. We're going to frame it, make sure it's going to sit on our workpiece again as we expect it to. It is. It's all going to look nice and neat and tidy. And then we're just going to hit send in that software. In fact, I'm going to remove it because as soon as I hit send, it's going to start going. So I'll let you guys see the laser. There you go, you can see. I don't know if this is going to go all the way through. Let's see. Let's see what it does. Let's take bets. Do you think it's going to cut through, guys, on one pass, or do you think it's going to need me to move this over and do yet another corner to try it out? And you'll notice today, guys, as well, we're not lifting the material up because it doesn't matter if we get any vertical striation marks on this. We're just leaving the part flat on the bed. So we cut the same power, but we cut it a lot slower. Let's see what we've got. Oh man, we're so close. So there you go, guys. You can see here, it's there. Oh look, it almost came through. It almost came through. It's so close. Where's the camera? It's almost there. 99% is probably about right. Almost there. Right, okay, we're probably going to need another piece of wood here. I can use the offcuts for that for something else, but Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to slow it down this time. I'm going to increase the power. So I'm just going to load up the power screen and I'm going to send that to 50% power. We'll keep the same speed, but we'll make the laser a little bit stronger. And then we should have our tool. So I'm going to send that over to the machine. Okay, now that's on the machine, we'll just check the file again. That's all good. And then this time we should be there. This time we should be there. We should get exactly what we need. Let's see. I hope this is time that we get it. Third time lucky always. Oh, I don't know. That looked good to me. That cut there when it joined up at the far side, that looked good to me. This board is luckily really cheap. It's like £1.50 a sheet, so it doesn't matter if we ruin it or not. These cuts are looking good. I think that these have cut through. I'm not looking at the laser itself directly, but I'm pretty sure that these have cut through. I'm like 99% sure that these have cut through. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. It's still not quite there. So, you said third time lucky. I think it's going to have to be fourth time lucky. I think it's going to have to be fourth time lucky, guys. It's so close. It's so close. Right, okay. Okay, let's tweak it a little bit more. Let's bring back Lightburn. Let's go nuts. Let's edit this and go to 100% power. Let's overcook it. Let's do 100% power. Okay, I'm going to send that over to the machine. Got a fire extinguisher handy. I always have a fire extinguisher handy. Fire extinguisher is always on hand. Powder as well because it's electrical. So yes, always got a fire extinguisher on handy. We shouldn't need the fire department on speed though. And then it's simple things as well that you need to do, like the tassels on my hoodie. I've took them out of the way. Just make sure there's nothing that's going to drop in there. Yeah, but you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful with this stuff. Okay, so we've sent the file over. We've bumped it up to 100% power. If this doesn't cut through, then we're just going to have to make it even slower. Frame this. That's looking good. That's looking good. Okay, I'm going to hit the start, guys. Get your Fs ready in chat if it doesn't work. And we want to see Fs if this doesn't work. Hopefully this will work. I thought it looked good last time. I thought it looked good. See, I'm not sure now. I thought it looked good last time, and it looks the same to me here. Chronoman, apologies I missed your follow, but thank you so much for the follow there, man. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being here on stream whilst I'm doing this stuff. And I hope you guys are learning with me, because this is all a learning experience for me as well. Oh man, what do we think, guys? No. So even with the laser on 100% power, that still didn't cut all the way through. It's still the same. So we need to go slower, that's the trick. We're gonna go slower. Don't feel bad for these pieces of wood. These pieces of wood have another use. This isn't wastage. We will have other things we make out of them, so please don't feel bad about that. Nicely aligned. Got to slow it right down, yeah. 6mm is going to be thick enough to hold them, yeah, so they're about 8mm thick. N25 sec, thank you very much for the follow, man. Really appreciate that. The Fusion Nightmare is almost over, Tom says. Thank you, Tom. We'll try that out shortly. Okay. So now we've done that, we're going to just load up Lightburn again. I'll show you guys Lightburn. I don't know if you guys see the pop-ups when I do the pop-ups, but let's slow it down. Let's go half the speed. Let's do 15 millimeters a second. Let's send that over. Okay, so this is going to be 15 millimeters a second at 100% power. Now that's enough to go through most plastics it will go through. It wouldn't quite do 10 mil, but this should be softer than acrylic. This should cut easier. Okay. Okay, here's the real test, guys. Here's the real test. Are we going to get what we need to get out of this? Let's hit start and see what happens. So you can see it's much slower now, guys. It's going to take probably a minute to get all of these done. That's the risk, Rex. Go too slowly and you will set it on fire, yeah. If I did this at 1 millimeter a second, this whole board would burn. Well, there we go. That's definitely cut through. Just how much flame have we got on the other side? How charred is this? Because you can cut it so there's barely any charring. Yeah, I'm definitely cutting now. So the idea for this, guys, is just a test for it. Eventually, when we do the actual final jig, and we've got 20 or 30 of these in the laser cutter, we'll actually have a whole sheet that'll be covered in these shapes. And then what I'll do is I'll bond it to a same size sheet underneath, so that it will sit nicely on 2 layers effectively. So what you'll have is you have 2 layers of material, and only the top layer will have a gap cut in it, and then the part will sit in that gap. So it'll lay on a piece, and then it'll have a piece that goes around it effectively. That's what we'll do for the final jig. This is purely just for testings and everything else. Might be able to up it to 20 millimeters a second if it's too charred. Absolutely, yeah, we might be able to. Okay, the Vestaboard just has gone. So let's show you the Vestacam. Define Cables is now following. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Define Cables. It picked you up pretty quickly there. It doesn't always. Okay, so you can see these are cut all the way through. So we now have a jig. This will now enable us to cut things. So what I need to do now is I need to mark this with the top side. So I need a marker, which I did have earlier. Apparently I've lost. And the reason we need to mark this is so that we know exactly where it went in. So we're just going to put the word top just on there, just as top. And that will mean that we know exactly which side was the top whenever we put it back in. So we always know that this corner here is the corner that goes into that machine. So we're going to just shade that in. So we know that that's always going to be our point of reference whenever we're using this, just to make sure that it's in the right place. Make sense? Make sense? HRA Queen Elizabeth II says, hello Jay, would you recommend the Vestaboard? I'm thinking about one for the Palace. Liz, if you get one for the Palace, let me know so I can send you a message every day. As we're good friends, it'd be nice to be able to wake you up with a nice cheery message every morning. So there we go, that's our jig. The next step is to see if our files will fit in here. So if our little screw holders will fit in there nicely. And you know what? They fit in there pretty much perfectly. This is really hard to show you with this camera. But like if I hold this here, there you go, you can see it. It just fits in nicely. Vestacam back on. Oh, shouldn't show you that when it's a sale. Yeah, so there we go, guys. It now fits in there nicely. So we can put this back into the machine. We can lay these parts in there, and then we're ready. We have a jig that's ready to make and laser our parts. So now we're putting this back in the machine. And then what we have to do is we have to make sure that these now sit in there nice and flat and flush and level. So we did 15 millimeters a second at 100% power. That's what we did. And that's what cut it through. And to be honest, it came out really, really nicely. There's next to no charring on the inside of this. Flip back to the other camera. So you can see there's next to no charring on the sides of this. It's got a nice clean cut all the way around. Well, I mean, different lasers, this is the thing though, Nick. Different laser cutters will take different settings. So you could buy exactly the same laser as mine, and you have it in your environment, and it will take different settings to what mine takes to get it to cut. So that's what we have to do. Anytime I cut a new material, I have to go through this process. Usually I do small 1 centimeter squares to test it, but today we just did this size because it was easier and it was already programmed. But basically we run through a series of tests to work out what the correct speeds and feeds are for both cutting and etching. Now I don't need to etch into the wood, we're going to be etching into the aluminium, so we don't need to test etching into the wood. That should be relatively easy, just put it on 1% power and 100 millimeters a second, it should just nicely char the edges. But this has come out really, really clean. It's fine, it's fine. Like, I shouldn't really show you it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have any knowledgeable information on there. There's nothing you can do with the information on that. So there we go. These come out really nice. These are nice little coasters. I might paint these and keep them as coasters for around the workshop. There you go. Would anyone like some coasters? 50p each. Prototypist coasters. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to flick back to the other camera and we're going to put basically 4 of these in there and have a look and see how they go. Okay, and you see now we are ready to actually etch into these. Now what I need to do is check and see if Tom has managed to send me the file for me to be able to do this. He hasn't as yet, so we can't actually laser etch these at the minute. What I might do is I might just take one of those out of there and just show you guys how we etch on this particular one here. This already has an etch into it, so we just maybe do something above that and just see if we can get a nice clean etch. I'm just going to take one of these out and replace it with this one. He says. Okay. So we're only going to etch onto the blue one for now. Yeah, so Nick, when we actually, these are just prototypes, so it doesn't matter if they get scratched and dented or anything like that. They're prototypes designed to be abused and destroyed and tested on. That's the whole point of these. But when we do it for the final time, we'll actually have a layer of wood that they'll sit on top of, and then this piece will go around the outside of them. So this would actually be 2 layers thick. It's not at the minute, it doesn't need to be, but when we do the final production version, it will be like that, just to make sure that it's sat on soft wood, it's not going to scratch the aluminium. On this, doesn't make a difference. These have been in use for a while. They're prototypes, and you'll see that the cutouts for the feet are different because we've got different versions of the different prototypes. So you've got some round and some squares. The final ones will be the rectangular ones. Marthex has been waiting on these trays. Yeah, they're going to come soon. They're not far away at all. Not too far away at all. Okay, so now we've got these in place. What we're going to do is we're just going to do a test cut on that top one in the corner. So, just bringing back light burn so you guys can see exactly what I'm going to do. You'll see that I've still got the 4 shapes in the 4 areas. We know where they are. We know that that's going to cut in the same place. We know that that's going to do all of the right things. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to change the layer on these. So we're going to change what the laser does for those 4 there. So we're going to put this now to setting 27 or 28, something like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to edit this setting so it does 100 millimeters a second, but 0 power and 0 power. Okay, so it's actually just going to draw around those. It's not actually going to laser etch them. But what we're going to do is we're then going to add in a file just for this one in the top right. So I'm going to drop in a logo. Just need to find it on my PC. Okay. Should have had this more to hand. But you learn, you learn. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in the prototypist keyboards logo. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this to etch. So you see how it's gone blue, and we're going to fully fill it. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to shrink this to size. And we're going to actually put this above the other one. So we know that that blue one in that top corner, in that top right-hand corner, we know that's already got a PT logo in the middle that's tested. And we know that that came out reasonably well. And that was using these settings. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to slow this one down a little bit. We're going to do this one at 100 millimeters a second. Oh, the Vestaboard's going. I'm not going to be fast enough to show you guys as it changes, but let's get Vesta to come up. There you go. Freaking laser beams! If you guys want to get a message up on the Vesta board, you can tweet me. And if you tweet me at jprototypist, you can see it there on the second line. It will come up on the Vesta board. It will come up on the Vesta board. All you need to do is just tweet that. And as long as you don't put an emoji on there, and as long as you don't break the character limit, it will show on that. So you will be able to tweet me. You can see how to do that just through using the socials command. There you go, guys. Bottom one there. You can tweet me on Twitter at that link. And if you do, well, that's what you'll see. That's what you'll get. Okay, so now you can see we've got the prototypist logo in there. As I say, we are just going to tweak the settings a little bit. So we're going to do it at 100 millimeters a second and at 20% power instead of 10% power. That should be enough to burn away the top layer of anodization. So on the blue one in the top corner, that's what we're going to burn away. And let's see how this goes. Okay. So let's get rid of light burn. Let's go back to the machine. Now we know that we're going to etch into a surface that's higher. So basically the material is higher than the wood was when we cut the wood. So we know we need to recalibrate the laser. So what we're going to do is going to move the laser over the top of the workpiece that we're going to etch. We're going to get our measuring tool, which tells us how high we need to have the laser set. And then we're going to basically drop the workpiece until it's at the right level. Go. And the reason we do that is to make sure that the laser is focused. Now the laser is basically a beam of light, and that distance from the bar to the tip of the light to the top of the workpiece, that's the focal length. If I change that, the laser beam actually gets wider and skinnier depending on where we put it. That's at its thinnest point. It's the focused point. It's like a magnifying glass with the sun when you try to burn the ants when you're a kid. It's exactly the same thing. Too far away, doesn't burn anything. Too close, doesn't burn anything. Get it just right and it will burn. And that's exactly what happens with the laser. So now we've got that right, we've got the height set. What we're going to do is we're going to send over this file to the laser. I won't show you guys this because you don't really see anything. But we're going to send that over. And what this is going to do is it's going to do two things. It's going to draw the outline. It's not going to laser etch it. It's just going to draw the outline around all four of the parts. Once it's done that, it's then going to etch in the prototypist keyboards logo onto the blue one in the top right-hand corner. And we'll see how it comes out. I'm just going to check that the file's got everything on there. It does. So now we're going to frame it. Looks good. And what this is going to tell us is if we do this alignment around the outside first, it means that if we see that it's going to deviate from the pattern of falling around the outside of the parts and it's not going to be aligned correctly, we can hit the stop button. So that's why we have this here. That's why we have this here. Okay, I'm just going to hit start. And we can see it's going around the outside of the part. That looks good. And around the outside of the part, that looks good as well. Okay, now we're going to laser etch into the top of this one. And we'll see how this comes out. I think we might go into the footwell on this because we haven't measured it and aligned it properly. But let's just see how well this laser etches in. try zooming in on this for you. So it is going to go into the wells for the feet, but hey, we live and learn. We're just doing a test here. How nicely can we laser etch this? What are these parts? These are trays. These are screw trays made from anodized aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you're from. And let's see how well that came out. Just going to flip over the camera so you guys can see a little bit bigger. Look at that. How cool is that, guys? This is a 150 watt laser. This is a 150 watt laser. But how nice does that come out? That prototype is at the top. The PT, the one in the middle, that's what we did on the same settings as we'd etch acrylic. But that's how the laser comes out when we set it for aluminium and set it properly. The next thing to do is I want to retest it on this part, but I want to just drop it down slightly. So I'm going to spin the part around and do this on upside down compared to the other one. And then I'm just going to drop that down, that logo down just slightly, and just see if we can get it just in the plain part and see how it comes out. Let's have a look at that. So we're going to align it all up again. So that's where the work part goes. We know that the jig's in the right place. We know that the laser's set to the right height. We push the piece in. And then what we need to do is just amend the file back in Lightburn. So I'm just going to go back to the build stream, open up Lightburn. And then we know that we're going to need to just drop it slightly so that it fits in the right place. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that graphic. And I'm just going to drop it down just a touch. I think when we looked before, it was just slightly out of the area. I don't want to go too far. I'm just going to pop it there. We're going to send this one across. Okay. And let's see if we can get really zoomed in on this for you. Oh, the rest of the blood's going. Visionaire is now following. Thank you for the support, dude. Thank you so much. Okay. So now we've got the laser a little bit closer. Let's run through file, enter, enter. Okay, it's all looking good. We're going to frame it. So again, it's just going to draw the outline around the four parts. Make sure the laser goes around the top of them. You are seeing it from an angle, so it's not going to look like it goes around it. It's going to look slightly offset, but it's really close. The holes and pockets are for bump-ons, yeah. So the round one prototypes we were going to use bump-ons, but for round two we actually have our own custom feet that we're going to use, which are slightly rectangular. So there we go. So we've now loaded all of that up. We've framed it. We know it's going to be in the right place. Let's start this one going and see how this comes out. So it's going to draw around all four of the parts. I'm ready to stop it if I need to. That looks like it's good. Looks like the laser's all aligned. This is a good check just to make sure that everything's looking good. But yeah, those pockets are for bump-ons. There will be dark grey bump-ons that are custom sized and custom fit for this. The reason why we're using them for this is because I use them for all boards going forwards. Someone just opened my door and shut it. How weird. Okay, so this one, as you can see, is going to fit in between the bump-ons. It should just be nice. And we should be able to see it nice and clearly without it just dropping into the bump-on pockets. The actual screw pockets that you can see, that's because we need hooks basically for when it drops into the anodization tank. They put like a claw of hooks into it and then they can just drop it into the anodization tank. But it has one in every hole just so that it can be balanced correctly no matter which orientation they put them in. So yeah, but that's what they're for. It is a screw tray. It's like this. Let me show you on the big screen. It's just like this. Okay, let's take a look at that part and see how it's come out. And there we go. It's really nice and clean. I'm not so fond of the small text, but the large text looks really good. The logo itself looks really good. So we'll see if we can fix that in any way. But I'm not really a big fan of how the small text looks. It's not quite as nice as the bigger text. Can't feel it. It's just flush with the metal. Yeah, it looks really nice. Reminds me of Sunset Orange. This is actually Lodestone Orange. This is a colour that I've had made up by my factory for the Lodestone keyboard, and they've produced it on a series of other products for me as well, including these trays and the Argyle prototype as well, which is just to the side. Really nice finish. Yeah, they're lovely. Not sure how much they'll be, as cheap as I can get them. The idea isn't to make money off these, the idea is to sell these as cheap as possible. Don't know, it depends on how much I get when I bulk order them. I'm going to imagine they're going to be somewhere around the region of 25 to 30 pounds, but I don't want to promise that. But yeah, they'll be as cheap as I can get them, as cheap as possible. Okay, so I'm going to just check in with Tom, see if he's got the logos yet. No, he hasn't got ready for the bits to etch in. So I don't want to etch the other ones because we want to actually test the final files. Can the etching only be used on coated metals? No, Anarchy, we can do plastics as well. We can do it on bare metal as well. I don't have anything bare metal to show you, but you can do it on bare metal as well, and it will etch it. It doesn't really show quite as well. We can do it on glass. I don't have any glass to show you, but we can basically etch anything. It's all to do with just the power. Ahmed the Enigma says, love the orange. When will these be available? So these will be available after Tom's seen these final prototypes and after we've finished calibrating the laser for these. So a couple of weeks and I'll put an order into the factory for a significant volume, and then we'll put them up for pre-order on the site. Won't be a traditional group buy. These are going to be ones that we're going to buy to put in stock, and I'll just do a pre-order whilst we're waiting for them to come into stock. That's going to be the plan. Hope that's okay with everyone. I'm just wondering if I've got anything else I can show you that we can etch into. I'm really tempted to see if we can get a setting to etch into wood. Really tempted to see if we can etch into wood. I'm going to put this piece back in, take the other parts out because we haven't got the file from Tom yet to actually etch these. So we can't actually complete on the trays at the minute, but hope if I push these out the right way. I'm just wondering if we can etch into the wood and get something nice to come out. I haven't tried etching into wood yet. But if I pop these back in to the slot, and then we need our tool to calibrate the laser height again. I'm just going to move this is a little bit harder to level. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's all ready to etch. Let's see if we can get a setting for the wood. Tom's there. He's almost there with the files. Well, we'll see how long we've got because I've got about another 20 minutes at most that I can really stream for today. So let's see if we can get a setting that's going to etch into wood. I'm just going to load up Lightburn again. And the setting we used last time, So it was 10 and 200. So I'm just going to go back on this and I'm just going to create a new file. Spell 10 and 200. 10, sorry. Yeah, 120. Sorry, 120. And then I'm just going to go back to the other setting and make sure I've just put it back to how it was, because that was set for acrylic. I don't want to melt the acrylic too much. So I'm just going to go back and amend that file as well. Okay. So then we can just do the outline with something that's not going to get done. And then we have a new color for etching. Or we would do if I got it right. Okay, there we go. That's the outline. And then that is that. Okay, so that one, CO9, that needs to be aluminium etch. Okay, there we go. You see, we're saving settings for different things now. And this one that we had, that one is plywood cut. 6mm cut. Okay, so we're just labeling up the settings that we've got to cut out now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and figure out a setting that is going to allow us to etch into the wood. So we're just going to fill that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set some settings up. So I'm going to put it down to 10% power, and I'm going to leave it on 100mm a second. I'm going to center that on this piece because it's kind of nice. So we're just going to center that. It should snap into place. There it goes. And let's see how that comes out. I'm going to send that over. Okay. Get rid of light burn. Jump over to the other stream, and then let's see how this comes out if we try and etch wood. I haven't tried this before. I expect we might end up with a small fire, but let's see. First thing we're going to do is frame. You see it's just going to draw the outline around those four parts again, and then we're just going to set it going. We'll see what comes out. Okay, and let's see how this works. It's exporting right now. Nice. Asking Discord too, but I see you're busy right now. General question: can I purchase 2 different group buys? Oh, it is working. It is etching into it. Let's see if it comes out. Can I purchase 2 different group buy orders at once? Will one should be shipped before the other? If you only pay for one lot of shipping, you will only get one shipment. So if you order multiple things at the same time, they will only ship once all of the items in that order comes together. So please don't order things together if you want them to come as they're available. Ever plan to get rid of Dr. Laser? It has one. I just turn it off so you guys can see a little bit better. Yeah, I just turned the red dot off because you guys can't see so much. Excited for these wooden branded coasters, dude. Let's do it. Let's sell them. Oh, okay. That's actually come off really nice. For a first attempt, that's come off super clean. Hold on. Let's flick over the stream intro. The keyboards hasn't come out so well, but the actual prototypist bit has come out amazingly well. That's come out so good. That's really nice. Mode Obscure, thank you so much for the follow. It may show up on the Vestibule, might you follow in a minute. We'll see. Depends on how quickly it peels off the API. That's come out so nice. I could stain these and just do that over the top. I'm going to get some actual wood, not plywood, and I'm going to make a series of these for the website. Pack of 4 coasters in this shape. Prototypers logo etched in. I think that's what we're going to do. All made in-house. We're going to make some coasters, boys. I don't think anyone's ever going to be interested in them. Yeah, I think what I'll probably do is I'll probably just lacquer these, and I probably want that to be a little bit darker. So I'll probably slow it down a little bit so it goes a little bit darker, almost goes black. There goes the color of the outside maybe, a little bit more golden, and then I'd probably just stain them nicely. Oh, Tom thinks he's got a file that might work. Ooh, shall we see? Okay. Okay, shall we see? Shall we really see? You could do them as a pack with the screw trays for the first X orders. That's not a bad idea, Ryan. That's not a bad idea. The first 20 orders of these trays, when we put them up, they get a free set of 4 coasters. I'd be down to do that. Got to use our waste materials up. I think these are just about right for like a can as well. Like, they're probably a little bit small for a mug, but for like a can, I think these would be perfect. Okay, let's see what Tom's got for us. Now, I'm probably not going to etch these live today because I am running out of time. But let's. Oh, come on! I hate this isometric camera. Let's delete all of that and let's see what Tom's got for us. I'm going to just quickly download the file that he's got. He says it's called Jig, please be final. So let's see if this one works. Okay. So what we're looking for here, guys, is. Ta-da! It does. That looks good, Tom. That looks really, really good. We could create a new jig today with all of these parts on. Now, what I'm going to do, I think I'm sharing this. No, I'm not even sharing this. There we go. You guys can see. There you go. You guys can see that Tom's file has actually worked this time. We've got the 4 files and we've got the text that's going to go on them as well. So if I zoom in, I'm a little bit worried about that small text. I've got to be honest, Tom. But let's take a look at this. And what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to highlight them all. And we're going to ungroup them. Oh, they're already ungrouped, so that's nice. What we're going to do then is we're just going to delete the files that we don't need. And this one as well. And then we're just going to select all of these. I'm just going to move them a little bit closer to the edge. Somewhere around there, so we've got plenty of border around to label and everything up. And then what we can do is we can set the outlines to be our plywood cut. There we go. And we can do that first. And then what I'm going to do, just to test these, I'm actually going to cut these directly into the wood, this text into the wood. So as you can see, there's some different versions of the text here in different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight these all, and I'm actually going to select our wood etch. I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. I'm just going to slow that down by half the speed just to see how it comes out. And we're going to call this wood etch. Okay. And I'm just going to select all of these. And I'm just going to put them into that color. And then the laser knows what it's doing. Okay. So now we have the file ready. I'm going to send that over. Ooh, 4 shapes have been set to fill but weren't closed. These have been removed as they cause problems. Show me. Oh, okay. Okay, so there was just some connecting files there that weren't really relevant, that didn't actually need to be doing anything, so that's fine, that's fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see how these etch in the wood and see if any of these actually come out so they're legible, because some of the text is quite small. So let's get rid of light burn. You guys don't need to see that anymore, but you do need to be able to see the laser cutter. Oh my lord, yes, I got a heart attack. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just spin this piece of wood around, and we're just going to use the other corner. We know we've got the settings right to cut it the first time, so we are going to cut it as well. We know we've got the height dialed in just about for the actual level of wood itself, so we're just going to redo that. Just make sure we are correct, because this is not quite the same. Okay, so it does need to just drop down a touch. There we go. Okay, so now we're all in play. We've got the file. Just going to run through the settings, make sure that all looks good. Going to frame it. And this is Jig 2 Test 2. This is where we're going to make basically 4 coasters with 4 different versions of the text on. So I'm just going to start that going and let's see what we come out with. Let's see what we end up with. Let's move the camera over slightly just so you guys can see. There we go. Firing my lasers. Absolutely, man. Okay. And then we'll just see how the etch on the wood comes. It should have done anarchy. Yeah, I haven't set it up for this. It's because I was using the outside as a jig and we were going to frame it first to make sure everything was aligned. I forgot to do that bit, but yes. Usually when we're doing loop stations it will do. For this it wouldn't because we're actually cutting the outside of the jig. I don't think it will be. But these are just coasters anyway. These are test bits of wood. It only really matters when I actually do the test on the actual parts themselves. Like it's a fraction different. We'll see how it comes out. We'll be able to tell from this what's the closest anyway. And we use different laser etching sets anyway, so the settings we use for the etching on the wood is very different to what we'll use to etch on the aluminium. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried about what's going to be broadly legible and what's not going to be broadly legible. And that's what this test is going to tell us. And it looks like this one in the bottom right is going to actually be legible and readable. Oh, Vesterboard. Mode Obscure, thank you so much for the follow. The Vesterboard did catch up eventually, and you are now following. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Lenny KB says, RJ, this is bad then. I purchased GMK Striker with Kanagawa desk mats together. Happy to wait too long for the desk mat, but I really don't want my order cancelled. I won't cancel your order. You'll just not get the desk mat until all of the parts are in the warehouse. I don't like people doing it because it means I have to then remember and keep a record of all of these orders. And as products come in, I have to put one to one side and it takes up a load of space in the workshop. I've got a whole rack of shelves dedicated to people who've done this, so I don't like it. But don't worry, your order won't get cancelled. It would have already been cancelled anyway if I'd decided to cancel it. Your order won't be cancelled, but you won't get your items until all of the items are here in the workshop. Ryan McGee, I can tell you right now, you have to convince her. It's a human right that everyone has a Vesterboard. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. Like, genuinely, I don't want people going away thinking I'm sponsored by Vesterboard or anything else. I'm 100% not. I just love the damn thing, and I love that old technology, and I have to share it. Yeah. And remember, guys, if you tweet me at jprototypist, it will display on the Vesterboard as well. Whether I'm streaming or not, it will display on there. So you can always send me a message. Just look on the socials there. Tweet the Vesterboard, just send me a message and just at me on Twitter. It will come up on the Vesterboard here in the workshop. And that API works a little bit faster than the Twitch one does, I'll be honest. Okay, so slowing the laser down is helping it darken up a little bit. It's also helping it be a little bit neater. Love how you configured it to your socials. Yeah, there's some things that happen that are good for me that I shouldn't really show on stream, like sales on the site, but yeah. We could perhaps do separate etches for the PT and the text and the final thing as a time saver. Yeah, we can work on speeding it up anyway. It'll be slightly faster on the aluminium for the settings than it will be on here. It runs a little bit faster, does the laser. We're only going so slow, so it's a little bit darker on the wood. Otherwise it comes out just a little bit too pale. Elliot says the Vestaboard was awesome for follow notifications, looks sick. I just wish the Twitch API worked better. If I get a chance to make affiliate on here and start accepting subs, I understand that the API calls are faster, and there's also ones I can take from Streamlabs instead of taking them directly from Twitch, which means that then I'll be able to configure them for donations and subscribers as well as followers, which would be really cool. Orovite, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that, man. It only took 9 minutes for Mode Obscure's Vestaboard follow to show up, so I'm hoping that the one for Orovite is faster. But yeah, we don't need to worry too much about the timings, Tom, because the aluminium etch is faster than the wood anyway. So this is more about clarity. Can we read what we're etching into it? And I'm pretty sure we'll be able to on this. But just as a disclaimer again, guys, I'm not sponsored or affiliated with Vestaboard in any way, shape or form. I paid full price for the Vestaboard I have. Yeah, it's not like a freebie or anything. These are looking pretty clean, Tom. Pretty happy with how these are coming out. I think what I'm tempted to do is I'm tempted to do these bottom two, which are the two large text ones. I think the two smaller text ones that are going to be the top two that are just in the distance in the background, I think they're going to be not quite as nice. Oh, best I can. Charlie Brown says, hi Jay, cool workshop. There you go, guys. That's the Vestaboard working. The power of the Vestaboard. Thank you very much, Charlie Bones. Appreciate that, man. I have a sneaky suspicion that the smallest one of these, Tom, is not going to etch very cleanly at all. But let's have a look. Let's see how it comes out in a minute. I could be wrong. I could be very, very wrong. This might be nicer than what I thought it was going to be. Hopefully this won't take too long. I was only supposed to stream 3 till 4 and it's already 4:15. Yeah, for the Twitter one, it works really quickly. The API for the Twitter, it works every 60 seconds. So the most time it could have between picking up the tweet and starting to play it on the Vestaboard is about 2 minutes. But with the Twitch ones, it's an every 10-minute call or something on the APIs, and it only picks up so many of the follows. It doesn't pick up all of them. So I need to work out a better way of doing that. I think I can integrate with Streamlabs rather than Twitch. And if I'm lucky enough to make affiliate and I can start having subscribers and things on the channel, then I can actually use a better API access than I can as a standard streamer. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, the letters are really tiny. The ones that it's doing right now, I'm really worried about. They might be too small, but basically we've got 4 different sizes of text, and we're just trying to work out what's going to look best on these, both from an actual technical perspective of how well the laser etches, and also just what looks nice for the eye. So we're just going to etch these 4, and then off stream, at some point later on, I will etch all of these. We'll see how it goes. So Tom, I hope you're still watching. Let me know if you're still here, because I'm keen for you to see these as well. Lasers will always be cool. You're right. Tom is still here. Excellent. Okay. Shouldn't take too long to do these. These actually look better for the top ones than I thought they would. I was really worried about the legibility of the text, but I'm pretty happy with them. 1901, probably my favorite drink. Dude, Iron Brew. Can't get enough of it. To be fair, that did last me 2 days, all yesterday and all today, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, probably about 3 or 4 minutes left on these, and then we'll see how they've gone. And then that's going to be it for the stream, and we're going to have to find someone to raid. Just a reminder as well, guys, I'm going to do the whole shilling thing. This is my channel. You can go check out my store, prototypist.net. GMK DualShock Round 2 is live. GMK Handabyte is live. I want to know your thoughts in chat about Handabyte. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Are you guys going to buy Handabyte? Let me know. What about Nactabyte as well? Let me know in chat what you guys think. GMK Handabyte, yay or nay? Gio, morning lovely. Good morning, my good sir. You could have sent that to the board and cheered me right up, dude. You could have sent that to the board and made me a happy chap. You could have tweeted me, put it up on the Vesta board, and I'd have been a very, very happy chap. Ah, I'm sorry about S.A. Ramses. No, you can't do a letter block at a time. There's no way we can do that on this laser. I don't have a... To do that, I'd need something like a Trotec or something similar. I have to do it as a line item. It's a laser printer directly. It's a 30-second download, Gio. You can have it downloaded and installed in about a minute. Okay, let's take a look and see how these come out, guys. I'm going to flip the camera over. Oh, Vesta cam. I'm on the wall again. Walco426, he's on the wall again. There you go. He's on the wall again. Right, let's get these out and take a look. Okay, let's look at these in size order. And Tom, I hope you're winning. Julak Co. Okay, Julak Co. Okay, I apologize. Julak Co. I apologize. I'll try and remember that. I'm terrible with names. I apologize. But Tom, let's take a look at this. This is the smallest text. Julak Co. Julak Co. Julak Co. Julak Co. There you go. It sounds like I'm saying something really weird. But Tom, take a look at this and let me know what you think. This is, if I can get to focus, the smallest text. And do you know what? That's pretty damn legible. That's pretty good. Next size up. And that's 100% legible. That is pretty much spot on. That is almost perfect. A little bit bigger, more legible again, but not quite as pleasing to the eye. It's probably a touch too big at this point, but it is very, very clean and very, very easy. So, the actual parts themselves, these are manufactured in China, which is what we're actually going to be etching. These are the bits that are manufactured in China. We're just testing out the laser at the moment. I'm just going to be etching them here in the workshop, that's all. And then Tom, here is the largest one, which is really clean, really easy to read. Just put the largest and the smallest next to each other for you. Try and get these on screen at the same time. There you go. I think my money is actually on... So this is the second size, that's size 2, that's the slightly larger, and this is the largest. My money is on this one, I think. Designed in UK, manufactured in China. Designed in Ascot, UK, manufactured in China. Elliot says, are you making a jig to hold the metal one straight in the laser? Yeah, so that's exactly what this board is. It was a test for the jig. So you can see here, we made it's easy to show you on this one. We made this one first, and this was for 4. So we can put this in the machine, and we know exactly where it is down to the millimeter because it only fits in one spot. We know that that corner goes in the top corner of the laser, and then we can fit 4 of the trays in this directly, and we know exactly where they're going to be, and we have a file saved on the PC that the laser can read from, that it knows exactly where each of these 4 holes is, and it knows exactly where to put the text on each one. So we have 100% working jig now for the 4 prototypes I'm going to laser etch. What I need to do before I do those, and I'm not going to do that on stream today, is just tweak and change the settings a little bit, just on the etching on the aluminium, because whilst it's pretty clean, it's not perfect. Count the PT on the top where the screws fit, and the credits on the bottom instead. Well, I'm not the designer. This is all up to the designer. This is all up to Tom. He's the designer. He gets to pick where stuff goes. So he's the designer. And Tom, what I'll do is I'll send you all 4 of these coasters with the different sizes on, so you can pick when I send you the actual files over, when I send you the aluminium parts over. So Tom gets to pick exactly what he wants. So there we go, guys. That's the stream. We have made a jig successfully. We have laser etched and created settings for aluminium successfully. We have made a ton of coasters successfully. We've made 2 failed jigs unsuccessfully. Well, no, we successfully made failed jigs. So that's another success. Fail fast, right, my friends? Fail fast and iterate. We did some practice etching on wood, which came out mediocre. And then we went and nailed it. So there we go. Okay, so that's it for the stream today, guys. I'm going to see if I can find... I've just been browsing the live group buys on the site, Nactobite over Handabite and dual shot over both of those. Ordered them, can't wait. Thank you very much, Ahmed the Enigma. Thank you so much for that. And there, Orovite, there is your follow live on the Vesta board, only 12 minutes late. I think it's going to be a 15-minute ping. Okay, but now it is time to see if we can find someone to go and raid. There must be someone who's doing something cool. Let's see if we can find anyone in Makers and Crafting that's doing anything cool that we can go raid. Not necessarily keyboard related. Oh, Petrolhead Garage. We're gonna... No, that's in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I can't speak to them. Let's go and raid Leathercraft, PMS Proxy. That's who we're gonna raid. Let me arrange that. I want you to tell them that you hope they're having a really good day. They're making leather things. I want you to tell them that you hope they're having a really, really good day. And thank you very much for being here, guys. And I shall see you again soon. Let's go raid PMS Proxy and see how our leatherworking's going. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers now. Bye-bye.